Hello fellow geeks and welcome back to City of Geek video reviews. Yes, it has been quite a long time since the last video review. I think the last one I posted without checking was my end of 100 Days of Horror, so that was November or so when I put that up, maybe December. But we haven't been lazy over at City of Geek. We just haven't done any video reviews, so if you follow the link down below to cityofgeek.com, you can see all the written reviews that we have done recently, including my daily log of everything I watch. This is maybe sometimes a little small review of all sorts of stuff from all over the time, or more recent reviews such as Doolittle, The Turning, Birds of Prey, Color Out of Space, and a whole bunch of other ones. So you can check those out. We'll hopefully put up a couple more video reviews as time goes by. The Lodge is a 2019 or 2020 psychological horror film. That difference of years depending on who you ask and where you're from. It's supposed to be released in November of 2019, but was delayed until February of 2020. So it just came out this past week up here in Seattle. But it played a couple places back in November and it's played across the world already. We're kind of late to get that. In this case, I don't think the delay was anything had to do with quality, but more of the timing. The Lodge is released in the United States, at least, by Neon, who also released Parasite. And since Parasite was gaining a lot of steam, it actually, since it rolled right into the Oscars, which is a much deserved win for the Best Picture, along with a couple other awards along the way. Felt like that maybe Neon just put some of their financials and focus over to Parasite for good reason. It's a great movie. I love to have seen it twice in theaters. I usually don't see things more than once lately because there's so many things that come out. So check out Parasite if you haven't yet. But we are talking about The Lodge, so let's get back on track. It's check into The Lodge, right? Ha, puns. That's not really a pun, but what the fuck. So The Lodge is a 2019-2020 psychological horror film written and directed by Severi, Fiala, and Veronika Franz. The pair had previously made Goodnight, Mommy and one of the segments of the Field Guide to Evil. In this case, they also have a third writer, Sergi Casci, C-A-S-C-I. I'm not sure quite how to pronounce that. All these filmmakers are Austrian, and this is actually the first time they're working in English. The other two films were in their native languages and then translated over. This is the first time working with American and English actors, because Richard Armitage, one of the main actors, is British. And Goodnight, Mommy, like The Lodge. Now, I didn't like Field Guide to Evil. I don't remember which particular segment that they did. I thought it was a good idea that wasn't quite followed through on, and I almost feel as a lot the same about this and Goodnight, Mommy. Now, I like both to a solid degree. Both have a great look, solid tension, amazing performances, but something's lacking in both these films. And of course we are linking them, and every film should stand on its own because but you do see certain things that come into both of these movies. Both have only a handful of characters, which I always love, in an isolated location. I always love that setup of having like 4 or 5 people isolated and stuck with themselves and dealing with themselves and all their personal issues as they all come together. We had that in Goodnight, Mommy, and we have that again in The Lodge, in which we have an adult woman dealing with 2 children, where everyone here has some issues and how it relates to how they connect, along with a clueless male. In this case the dad, and the other one just the brief moment of the aid worker who comes in, giant white snowfields and isolated locations. So we see this little theme. I should go back and watch Field Guide to Evil if I didn't like it, to see if I could figure out which one's theirs, if that same theme pops up. Films like The Lodge and Goodnight, Mommy are in the same vein of very disturbing films that a lot of people don't like, simply because they make you feel nasty as you watch them. There's Lars von Trier's films, or Ari Aster's duology of Hereditary and Midsommar. All of those films are better than these. This is a good movie. This is a solid film with atmosphere, tension, performances, but something about these are just one level below that. But something doesn't quite come together in here. I think it's the character work. In both the films, and actually I keep saying both the films, but I'm just going to focus on The Lodge, and just go see Goodnight, Mommy for yourself and come up with a decision, because comparing the two as we go along is a disservice to this film. So we're just going to focus on The Lodge, where the characters don't think really move forward as much. They don't really connect. Everyone is really distant. They're distant to each other, thus they're distant to us. And so as we're seeing this really far from the outside compared to like Hereditary or Midsommar, where you're right there with them and you're connecting at every level, even if you don't, even as everything pulls along, that you're pulled more into it. In this case, we're watching from a distance and we're kind of more trying to figure out the pieces than we are connecting with what's going on for them personally. because we're never quite sure exactly what's going on. And to best describe that, we need to go into a little bit of the plot. As I said, I don't like to spoil these. If you watch my other reviews, you know I don't like to go into particular details of for exactly what happens. It's more get that feel. Here we have a broken family unit. In case we have a clueless dad, played by Armitage, who had just had a messy breakup with his wife, Alicia Silverstone. Good to see her again, it's been a while. Because he left her for Riley Keough's Grace. And after a tragedy, they decide, the four of them, Grace and the dad, decide to take the kids from the first marriage to a secluded cabin out in the middle of nowhere. But the kids hold Grace accountable for the tragedy with their mother and the breakup with their parents and everything that happened. So they really don't like Grace, they're not connecting with her. But she doesn't give a lot to connect with either. She's leaning out a little bit for them, but she's had a lot of trauma in her life, and so she's emotionally distant as well. So when she reaches out to them, it feels kind of forced and it feels kind of fake, because she doesn't really know how to interact with people. She was part of a cult when she was younger. This is stuff that's covered really early on, and I think the trailer's even covered if you've seen the trailer, where everyone else had died. She was the only survivor, and her dad was leader of the cult. So this is something that's leaning over her, and putting her in a situation like this probably isn't the best for her psychological makeup, because it seems like she hasn't really moved forward. I wonder why the dad has this. I wonder what their life is like, because if she's not really connecting with anyone, she must be, I don't know, it seems like it'd be really awkward. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to get into speculation over the characters in this case. That's something we could discuss with your friends. I could discuss with you later. If you want to send me a message, we can get into the whys of everything. We do have this dad who's kind of clueless, and maybe that's part of his thing with Grace, where he seems to think that this would be a good idea, getting this one woman who can't connect to the kids and two kids who just outwardly dislike her. The best way for them everyone to work out together is to send them off to the cabin alone and then leave. He leaves to go back to work. He's a journalist, and the reason he knows Grace is because he's writing a book on the cult that she was forced to be a part of. So they get to the mountains, things start to go wrong, and she starts to break a little bit, and we're wondering what exactly is happening. And that's where all of it comes from, where what exactly is happening. Now, for what exactly is happening, that also comes to some of the issues with the script that was having with the characters in the script, is it almost spoon feeds you exactly what's going on. Well, but I'm gonna cut that part short because I don't want to end up going into those details and spoiling it, because I do suggest you check this out, because it is a fine movie with fine performances and a really wonderful look. I think the look is the best thing here. The look really drives the movie. It's very claustrophobic. There's so many scenes where you do see the ceiling, you see the walls coming in. There's a couple repeated shots of there's a couple of different particular rooms, and there's one particular hallway where it leans in on you. You have this claustrophobia. It's like Robert Eggers had with a cinematographer whose name I can't remember at the moment, in The Lighthouse, where everything is in and you see everything, and it makes you feel uncomfortable because you feel trapped, and you feel just as much as Grace and the kids feel trapped in this cabin. And then when you get outside, you get these wide open spaces, and when it gets dark, you just see these ice fields with the darkness above, and that gives a wonderful tone to it. It's a disturbing tone, along with the music in there. Makes you feel completely profoundly disturbing as the movie goes along, no matter what's occurring. Then when certain things occur, it makes you feel more so, because nothing feels right. You get some liminal space issues, you get some time issues, so you have that going on, so you're never feeling completely comfortable in your seat. This is a very serious film. There aren't any stupid jokes, aren't this. There are fun things to see here. Some of the kids, their actions, the kids are played by Jaeden. I can't read my own handwriting. The kid played Bill in It, and as the older brother, and then the younger sister is Lila McHugh, who's on her brother at all times. She's really connected to them. She has an obsession with dolls and dioramas, and the dioramas thing does kind of connect with the Hereditary. Kind of looks and is shot like Hereditary. Apparently they were filmed at around the same time, even though this came out now. Or that came out so deep in production they couldn't go back and change anything. But a lot of people are probably going to say that this takes a lot from Hereditary, or takes a lot of the DNA from Hereditary, but it was just so happened to be two things at the same time that work the same way, and one is coming out 2 years before the other one. Or a year and a half, then plus the delay, almost makes it 2 years. But yeah, she has a little morbid streak that her brother has too, but she's younger, it comes out more directly, and that makes some interesting moments as Grace doesn't know how to deal with Mia, as the character's names, what she's saying. And we get to see the Thing, They watched the thing at one point, so it's cool to see that on the big screen. I've seen it a couple times on the big screen regularly, 70mm film festival at Cinerama, but it was still awesome to see that in that way. Riley Keough is fantastic as Grace. You might remember her from Mad Max Fury Road, and she's also in Under the Silver Lake, which is a movie I do recommend for people who would like twisty neo-noir Lynchian type films, which I did a short review of that last July, I think is when I watched that, and that's a deliciously messed up movie that is not for everyone's taste. This will as well. My audience is kind of like, what? Oh, we don't get this, because those in weird places. Brings up a lot of weird imagery, a lot of narrative jumps that make sense in the course of like these films. It's like, okay, I'm on board, but you know, you're watching something with general audiences, and there's something really weird, something really out of left field, that people are like, no, I'm out, you know, at this point, like the entire end of Annihilation, in many cases. Just knowing that it's not as good as some of the movies it's being compared to as you come in might help, but this is still a really solid movie. Just lacks a certain something to it. It's a very slow burn with weird imagery, really quiet performances. It's a really quiet movie. That's not going to be for everybody, but if you do like atmosphere and tone, you'll find a lot to like in here. Just maybe another, I don't know if maybe because they're writing in English for the first time, but Goodnight Mommy didn't quite work either, but that could have been a translation issue. But it's not to say this is a bad film by any means. I'm going to give this a B. Otherwise that, just like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell below. I'm going to try and post up more reviews, and go to cgeek.com and see everything else that we are writing about. So I'm trying to keep I'm trying to keep a daily blog of everything I'm watching. So we'll see you next time. Of course, always subscribe to the podcast as well, and stay geeky. Bye.